Hi, I'm Andre.
I'm Victoria, and we are two students from the Duke Forestry class who performed 100% stand cruise on this property last semester.
So 100% cruise was basically using our clinometers and DVH tape to calculate the merchantable height of trees that qualify for timber.
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I'm another Duke Forestry student that helped do the 100% timber cruise of the stand. I'm going to show you how we measured the volume of the trees. So the first measurement we have to take is how big around is each tree. So this is a little sweet gum tree, and we have these fancy tapes called DBH tapes, which stands for diameter at breast height. And breast height is actually 4.5 feet off the ground. And since I'm only 5'2", breast height for me is actually chin height. So I'll show you how I did that. So you just take the tree and you put the tape around and you just measure it. So this one is 4.1 inches of DBH. This right here is a loblolly pine, which is the state tree of North Carolina and a wonderful merchantable tree. Merchantable trees are trees that have commercial value. And we know that they have commercial value because they're a species that mills like to mill, and they're of a size that's big enough to be worth the logger coming in and taking it out and milling it. And here we have a loblolly pine that is 19.5 inches at DBH. And that means that there's probably a good amount of merchantable timber because it's over 10 inches of diameter. So most of the time, the most valuable trees are going to be loblolly pines that are 10 inches or greater. And also if you can find an oak. We don't have any oak here, but those are also really valuable. So right now we think that this is a really good tree that could be sold to make some money for the property. So we're going to measure this tree DBH, and then we're going to measure the height and see how much of the merchantable height we can get out of this tree.
So now that we've decided this tree is of a merchantable volume, we have to measure the height. So to measure the height, we have to get 100 feet away from the base of the tree, which we can do using a technique called pacing, where a forester measures the length of a step and divides it by 100. So I personally will be taking about 40 steps that direction to get 100 feet away from the base of the tree. Now that we're 100 feet from the tree, we can go ahead and measure the height. So as you can see, I'm 100 feet away from Andre over there, who's next to our tree. And I'm going to use this device called a clinometer to take 3 measurements. So I can take a measurement by looking through the clinometer, and the first measurement I'm taking is the vertical distance from the middle of the tree all the way to the very top. So I'll go ahead and look up the tree, take that measurement. The second measurement I'm going to take is the distance from my eye line to the bottom of the tree. So I'll do that by looking down. And now that I have that measurement, I'll take our final and probably most important measurement, which is merchantable height. So we want to know at what height is a tree not worth the timber anymore if it's gotten too skinny. So I'll go ahead and look up the tree until I think it gets to about an 8-inch DVH. And I'll take that measurement too. So with those 3 measurements combined with the DVH, we can now estimate how much timber that tree holds.
Okay, so now that we've got all the information, we're going to record it in a geographic information systems app called Survey 123. So what this app does is, it tells us our kind of exact location, and it saves that as a point on a map. And then we're going to record all these different facts about the tree, sun exposure, whether it's partially exposed or in shade or fully exposed, and then we look at tree species, DBH, everything we talked about earlier, and then we have a little section in here for height as well, and any other notes.
And with all of that, once we got all the information for every single tree in this stand, its DBH, its height, and its merchantable height if it's a merchantable tree, and the condition of the tree, we take all that information and we compare it to what the current market value is for all of the timber in this stand. And based on the market value of the timber, we reported how much we thought the stand was worth commercially. And then we also used a US government software tool to estimate what are the ecosystem services of this stand. So this stand does not only have a lot of merchantable timber on, it's also doing a lot of really valuable services like cleaning up air pollution, maintaining water quality, preventing runoff and erosion, and all of those services also have a really important value. So we reported both values. We reported the ecosystem service value and the timber value of this stand back to UConn so they could better decide how to manage their property.
Thank you, Delphine and UConn, for giving us the opportunity to practice our skills, and we hope it was useful.